All right. So let's take a look at the ES on Friday. We got a continuation of that hip hip hooray rally that we had from Apple's $1 trillion valuation. Right, kept on going, and we're sort of making this little, V bottom over here. It looked like right over here we had, resistance. Right, 240. You could see that. It looks like the demand down here on the weekly chart, the daily chart over here, really held very well. Okay, we've engulfed. That was on Thursday, and then Friday we get this continuation. Right? So as far as the weekly candle, if we look over here, so we really didn't take out the weekly prior week's high. Right? We tested the lows, and we've turned it into a hammer. So from a weekly perspective, if it doesn't clear yet last week's high, it will start to fail. But if it does get above the highs, then I think we're talking about, new all-time highs over here, it looks like. So we'll have to wait and see if it can get above, the high of Friday, basically. And, you can see where the prior week's high was, the sell-off started from. And we did come back into the first level of demand on the daily chart. And now we're back testing the highs. So we know what happens. If we fail, this becomes the lower high, which means this won't hold anymore, and we're talking about down here. And if we're able to get through the top, so then we're talking about basically based on the, on the levels that we've already hit up here. I'll zoom out of the daily in a second. You'll see that the only thing left is really the all-time high. So right now it's a wait-and-see game for Monday, depending on what we get. If we start to rally up above into this supply, you can see where this top, basically. Right? And there's air up there. So for now, it looks like we're probably going to take out the top. However, should we fail in this level, we're talking about a major breakdown of it, because this is really still within the channel. If I draw the trend line up here on the tops, I'll just do it for you. You'll see that, the bounce is definitely a higher high up there from last week's highs, but it's still within the channel of, where's my mouse? There we go. Okay. Okay, come on. Let's go move it. There we go. So, we're bouncing up inside this thing, and we're still okay. It didn't really break out, So for it to break out, it's got to get through this high. And otherwise, we just, look at the bottoms are there. Also, it's bouncing inside this little up and down motion for the past couple of months, it looks like. So, for now, it's, watch and see what happens Monday. If we start getting above these highs, you're going to have to get long, and then we're talking about new all-time highs. And if it starts to fail, we're talking about a pretty big pullback, because now, back down here, this is the low we're talking about. You can see it's really all air. Okay? Zoom out for a second, right? So if we fail over here, we make this lower high coming on the chart. So, well, this is the only demand. This is not fresh anymore. It's been used multiple times. So if we break this, we're talking about, something down here. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out starting tomorrow. Okay, so two possibilities. Above the highs, we're going long. We start failing, look for a short until we pull back into this area down here for fresh demand. Okay. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. So the ES ended up pretty strong overall on the week. Right, the NASDAQ was a little bit weaker this time around. Here's our ES. So it looks like on Friday we popped through this little supply zone that was left. We'll get rid of that. All right, to close the demand, you can see where it is. You can see all the air underneath us, and the prior demand basically more of a support area at this point now underneath us on the 60. So I'm watching to see if this can complete its V bottom formation over here. We're coming to the top. We should expect a pullback. If we get the higher low over here and it starts to rally, you want to get long, right? And aim for, at this point, above here, it's a new all-time high. So I would say the long, if it develops over here in the pullback out of the top, is the entry, and then the target would be, the long, new all-time highs out of this zone. If this level fails right here, then it's, think about, we're going to end up somewhere down at the 2760 area. So really, really important zone right here. This is the one. Right, we pull in here, we start rallying, we start, smaller, lower time frame, showing us that this level is going to hold, get long over here, and aim for new highs. Okay, and vice versa. If it fails this level on the breakdown, think about getting short. Okay? So that's the level to watch right there. All right, so our ES chart. Let's take a look at the NASI. So we had a pretty good, I guess recovery, I would say, on the weekly candle. Right, we were looking at, very bearish signals over here with the failed hammer. Now we've got the hammer the other way. Right, after selling off early in the week and taking out like 3 or 4 weeks worth of lows, we end up reversing and then, closing pretty decent looking candle. This one needs a continuation, right? A failed hammer over here would be disastrous. So this particular candle, again, needs to get above the highs. That's what we're looking at over here, right? This is the new all-time high up here on the weekly, on the daily chart. We're rallying back to the level that we fell off out of, and that's it. Now it's decision time. Are we going to break through the top, a new high again, or are we going to do this? Okay, so again, there's no way to know. We've been going sideways here, it looks like, for almost all of Friday. This is also a V situation over here, right, where we're going to get back to the origin of the fall, sell-off, and then there's the demand. It's going to be here. If we should get up into this zone, it's the same story as the ES. Now we'll watch this area over here and see what happens on the little pullback. So this is still a waiting game over here. Take a look at the NASDAQ on the 60. Here it is. So I'll zoom it out for you. There's the supply that we've sold off out of. Okay, and here's our little bottom that we broke up into the air. Right, and I can see that. And what happens here now, right here, is either this, right, which we're going to turn this into a demand zone, and then we would look for the entry into the long somewhere over here, right, on the pullback, or this thing starts turning over now and goes back this way. If that's the case, this is a lower high, okay, and that's it. We're going to look at the lower highs after the big rally, and this is going to break down. This whole bottom will get wiped out, and we'll end up somewhere much lower down, probably around 7,100, which is the target I was looking for last week. I was expecting it to break down from this area. Never did. It ended up holding and then shooting up into the air. So now we can see what we're doing. We're basically fighting on this side over here, right, where we broke down out of this range back here. We're back there again, and now we're waiting to see what happens. So this is still a waiting game. There's no trade here until, we see if it breaks up into this area, and then it has to hold the pullback for us to get long. Right? So if it breaks up here, we're looking to enter over here. We're going to wait for the price to pull back, watch it hold on the small time frame, then take the long, and again, aim for new highs. Otherwise, if this level breaks down, and we don't even get up here, or we come back and we break down under there, there's air, so much air over here. Right? And then again, we're back into the 7,100 is the target. So again, this is a wait and see type of thing. Okay. So there we go. That's our NASDAQ. If anyone has an equity question, go ahead. Now's the time to ask. Hey, George. What's up?
Hi, Joe. Do you leave any extra room with regards to stops when you're trading NASDAQ versus ES, or if you're trading YM?
Yes. NASDAQ again, because it's a much cheaper tick and only $5. I usually give it, because to me it's usually a dollar value, So yeah, I would give the NASDAQ a little bit extra room. But it's also more wiki than the ES, So if you're going to trade the NASDAQ, yeah, I would tell you something around, $100 a contract, something like that. So, okay, for a stop.
Thanks, Joe.
No problem. Oops, sorry about that. John, 1 second. Let me go back in there. I made a mistake on it. Yeah, go ahead. Raise your hand, John. There we go. Okay, go ahead. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Joe. I just wanted to ask you if you said on the indexes that the 60 is going to break down. So we're looking. Yeah. What are you looking for if you think it's going to break down, break through the zone, then wait for a pullback?
Yeah. So if we're talking about breakdown, yeah. So let me look. If you're talking about that the zone that we're talking about, which is not even on the chart yet, right, is going to try and blow it up here. So this is potentially where the zone would be, assuming we rally into here. So I have a rally-based rally. The zone will be here, right? Right here. That's the zone. Okay, so we're going to pull back here, assume that this is going to happen. Okay, and if this level starts holding, then we're going to go long. If this level breaks down, doesn't hold, we're going to have to find the first lower time frame, lower high to get short. And now the question is, where's the target on the way down? Is that your question?
Well, no, actually, I'm just asking what time frame would you be looking for the short? For
time frame where we're looking to get into the short once this thing starts breaking down. Right? Yeah. Is that your question? Okay, fine. Yeah, so we're looking for downtrends, right? So we're talking about, a 15-minute lower high, which is already downtrend 2 and 5, okay, to get into that short. Okay? So the 15 could still technically be up, although I doubt it would be by that point. But if it is, it's okay. As long as you got it down the 2 and the 5, and then you get a 15 lower high, you can take it, you can take the short, which is basically, here's the 15 chart. We're talking about this demand zone over here, getting cleared out and then making a lower high someplace over here, then you could take your shorts.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
This stuff under here is not gonna hold anymore. Once that happens, this is gonna be a higher time frame, lower high. We're talking about something from a daily chart, you know what I mean, and a weekly chart showing us that type of a reversal. Go back to the daily again, and we're talking about this thing over here not getting up here anymore and creating a lower high. So that's gonna break down under here now. So, right. So yeah, that's what you're looking for. So that zone on the 60 to break. And, lower time frame 2.5s are in downtrend, and then you get a 15-minute lower high, hit the trigger. Okay?
Okay, thank
you. Okay, fine. All right, let's go. Next, let's talk about crude for a little bit. Now, crude had a very nice rally, I think it was Thursday, and then didn't get any continuation whatsoever on Friday. Okay? And when we look at the weekly chart, even though the rally was really nice on Thursday, it really didn't do much technically to the chart. It's just a doji. Okay, and it's a red doji at that on the weekly chart. So this is drop base. What's coming? I think if you ask me, this is what we're looking at over here. We still have a lower highs over here on the daily chart. Even this bounce over here is still showing us, something like this. Friday got zero continuation. It gets a bearish Harami candle. So this should be, if you're asking me, looking for a trade under here. We're looking at a drop, base drop that's coming next, a big one. Right? There's a shitload of air under here. I'm talking about, 64-ish, it looks like over here, somewhere in the 64, 65 range for the next level of demand on crude. So crude is not looking that great. We're looking at bearish twins from last month on the close, right? So you can see that there on the monthly chart. This is the 240 chart. This is it is a bull flag right now, but the trend is still down. Okay, so until it breaks, this right here, this over here has to get taken out. Right, we do have the higher low so far, right? But we never got the higher high. It's just a rally off the bottom, and then it hits some supply over here, and then just pulls back, pulls back, pulls back. This is likely to continue down. I think if you're asking me, we're looking for a breakdown out of here, and the next target down there, I'm going to zoom out for a sec. We're looking at something. Look at this, yeah. But this is nothing. This level already got hit. It's got lower highs. We're going to break that. Somewhere over here, 64. I mean, that's where this over here, 64, 70, somewhere in this range. Right over here. Actually, should be a demand zone over there. This thing right here. So that's probably the target for this week. Bingo. 64.50. Okay. Right there. Let's take a look on the 60. Yep. So there's the rally from Friday, from Thursday, this nice big one shot off the top. Sorry, one rally off the bottom. All right, and we end up, inside this supply zone. We got a little higher than the wicks over there. You can see that. It's probably some 2015 stuff. That's inside over here. And then we just start drift off. We put on the lower high, and then we sell off, and then this is just, again, the close on Friday. No weight at all on these candles. Nonsense. We'll have to see what happens on the open over here. This is looking like it's probably going to break like this. And the trend is still down, so no issues with trend as far as the shorts are concerned. I think we're going to look for weakness in crude this week. Target is 64.50. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at gold. So gold right now has got really bearish sentiment, really bearish. I mean, if you're looking at the current trading reports, a ridiculous amount, very low on the long side, very heavy on the short side. It's been selling off, no question about it, for the last 8 or 9 weeks. You know, we're pushing on 1200 almost at this point. We're banging around the 1212. There's support in this area for now, just holding so far. We keep on getting these attempted rallies that keep on failing. This is the recipe for a short squeeze that we're watching here. With all this sentiment to the downside, and major sell-offs going on for the past few weeks. And then all of a sudden you start to see these attempted rallies like over here, right? You can see on the daily chart this one, and then this one, and then again here, but not ready to make new highs just yet, right? And that keeps on getting the shorts more aggressive. And you see, oh, the rallies are failing, and then all of a sudden you'll get one of these $50 candles, boom, straight up. I think that's probably what we're going to see coming this week. Some monstrous move out of this bottom that's forming down here with all these attempted rallies. You can see exactly where the resistance is. It's sitting right here, right? It's very clear. It's a triple top at this point already, right? And we also have, some pretty strong moves off the bottom down here. So there's support over here. You can see it. It's here. The resistance is here. I think we're going to probably see a short squeeze out of this thing somewhere, potentially to the fresh supply. This is really all the way up here, somewhere around 70. Even this one isn't that great. When I zoom out, you'll see. It's probably around 1275, something crazy. A $50 move that is very possible this week. I think that we're going to see something really strong out of gold. It's due. You could see when you start to zoom out, really nice long, building bottom down here, right? And the fact that we're so oversold and that we're sort of hovering around 1200, I think we're going to see something like this, something really ridiculous by the end of the week. So keep your eye out for it. It's not time to start the trade yet, obviously, because it hasn't really held for us yet. We're still looking at downtrends on most of the time frames, but I just know that that's out there, a very strong possibility that we see something ridiculous for gold this week. So if you start to realize that it's starting to happen, it's starting to break down through these levels or break up through these supply zones, especially if it clears 1235, start thinking like monster short squeeze. Okay, because I think that's very strong possibility of what we're going to see. This was an old little channel that we had going down on the 15. There's a really nice demand zone that's sitting right here, right when we broke out at the top of this sucker. So, something around over here maybe to watch for. Again, there's still a lower highs. It's really not a trend trade, even on this 15-minute chart. This is only one rally again Friday off the lows, so it's still a counter trend move, but it's definitely something that we want to watch. If we start holding over here and make higher lows, think about potentially getting long and riding this thing through what I believe is going to be something really big. Okay, so we'll see if that plays out. I would not be shorting gold at all this week, at all. Unless we start breaking down under the lows. I mean, if it breaks down under the lows, we're talking about something sub 1200, so that's also decent. But, anywhere inside where we are now, let's call these 60 zones over here, don't take the shorts anymore. It's almost finished, okay? Look for the long. Dollar. All right, so the dollar actually faked me out a little bit over the last week or so. I didn't think we were getting back up into this supply. I really thought we were going to be breaking down out of this over here. That didn't play out. It ended up holding the bottom one more time, rallying up. You see that the supply up there is starting to hold again. And now it's time to figure out what the hell is going to be. This is just going to be another top over here, and I'm going to come back this way, which is, I think, what we're going to see. Should we break out of this zone? I mean, there's a ridiculous amount of air above us. Let's open up the weekly chart for a second. You can see, I mean, we're in a holding pattern currently on the weekly chart, and There's a nice looking flag going on over here, right? And we're just banging around against this supply, which you can see is really strong. It's fresh. We haven't gotten into it at all yet, but that's still far away from 94 to 90, to 96 and change for the dollar is a big move. All right, so we'll have to watch what happens up there. So it looks like the 200 average, basically on the weekly chart, is also where the resistance is sitting. You can see that, right? This blue is 200 moving average, and we've been banging against it for, I don't know, 10 weeks, and the dollar is pretty much stuck. I think we're going to fail. We'll find out soon enough. Friday we had the miss on the NFP, which should cause some trouble for the dollar. Let's see what the euro is showing us. So I've been watching. We have this on the chart for a couple of weeks now. This little wedge that's going on over here on the weekly chart. You can see what happened on Friday. Right? So the question becomes, okay, is that just the overshoot, and then we're going to break the other side, which I think we're probably going to see, or is this it? Where are we breaking down all the way down to 114? I doubt we're going to see that price. We'll have to find out. If we start breaking below the weekly lows of last week, we're talking about a target of, fresh demand on the weekly chart. There it is there. And you can see exactly what it was. The prior highs are sitting there, right there, 114 and change. It's a possibility if we get a continuation of this candle. If we start to reverse out of here, which is what I think we're probably going to end up seeing, we'll shoot out the other side and end up at 120, and then we'll talk. Maybe we fail here, maybe we don't, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see that level hit first, and we're going to see this little head and shoulders starting to form over here. That's what I think we're going to find. So we'll have to watch and see if that happens. It would be a definite short under the lows of the week. Otherwise, if it starts to hold that and start to rally, let's look at some of the other time frames. We'll have to see if this is actually maybe a false breakout. All right. Here's the wedge. You can see it on the daily. Come back to the demand zone. It's a breakout of the wedge, but this level holds over here, and then we come back into the range. What normally would happen is we shoot out the other side, and we end up over here. Okay. And again, that's the 120 level. I think that's probably more likely than breaking down to 114 at this point. So we'll watch this over here. Show you where we go as we work our way through the time frames, where we would get a signal of which way this thing wants to go. And there's the demand on the 240. That's sitting right there. There's the little top we got up there with the air above it, with the air up to 120. So we're still over here in the downtrend, right, on the 240. It's not showing us any idea or any signal yet to get long. What is that, 60? 60 showing us, well, looks like we're sort of holding the bottom down here. It looks like we've touched it 3 times around 116. And there is a possibility for a V reversal over here. It's, again, the last couple of candles on Friday I usually tend to ignore just because by late in the day nobody's really there. It's all BS anyway. So take a look down here. This is the level that will give us the clue about what to expect for the euro. If we break out under here, start looking at 114. If this does what I believe we're going to see, something like this. So as we start to get into some of these zones, we start to get the higher lows over here. Expect that some of this stuff back here, because this is garbage. This is all rubbish. This is going to get run through when we start rallying out of this sucker. Right? You'll start to see things that rip through the top of those. For now, I would not be getting short down here at all until we start breaking down below the lows. So that's my euro speech. I think we're going to see a rally. Looks, what we're seeing from the higher time frame stuff, that this looks to me like we're probably going to, because we broke down, but we ended right in demand. We ended up with a doji down here. We'll know Monday. If we come back, to the wedge over here, likely to break that other way. Yeah. So if it continues down, so targets 114 is fresh demand on the weekly chart. Good. Good. If you have a question, go ahead. Let's look at gas. Nat gas showing signs of life. After a period of sell-off, we ended up with a pretty good-looking hold on the weekly chart, right? We got that last week, sort of an engulfing, or within the range of the prior week, and then this week, it was rollover, but still a strong push up, taking out prior highs on the chart. Okay, so you can see now we actually have a higher low, high. This looks like we're starting to turn into an uptrend. There is supply in the way. There's a very nice looking demand zone on the 240 at right at the prior highs. Right, so some strong moves up over the last 2 days for nat gas. Let's see if there's a place to join the longs over here. There we go. Let's zoom up and look up to 60 and zoom out a little bit. There's the demand zone that's waiting to be held. There's a very nice little, oh yeah, so that looks like a good trade to me. Absolutely. So take a look here. We've cleared out a bunch of supply. I mean, all the way back over here. First of all, this is all garbage. Okay, you can see that we sliced through all these highs back here like they were nothing. There's the demand. Fantastic. First level after the new highs on the 60, and the target's up here at 2.9. Really nice. So a long out of 2.8. If we get a pullback into this zone and it starts to hold on a little time frame, we're getting long here. It's got 100 ticks to the upside. Probably even more. If you look here, the level's not even fresh. And up top of it is garbage. I mean, the real nice zone is up here. This thing, rally-based, drop-based drop up here at 987. Right, 77 to 85 it looks like. Wow, that is a big, big, big rally. So that's what we're looking at over here. Interesting. After our weeks of very weak showing in nat gas, a level done over here with a hold. Let's see what it does tonight on the open. I would say the weekly target's probably up here. So that looks nice. Longs for nat gas. Looking at pretty good uptrend at this point, right? The higher low, higher high on the 60 is in place. All right, that's for nat gas. Let's take a look at yen. Your question, go ahead. Yen. Okay, there it goes, starting to hold finally. You can see where the prior supply was, right? It looks like on the weekly chart we back tested it one more time to this little wedge channel thing over here. We start to retrace it over here. We end up with a hammer candle. See if we can get a continuation. But on the weekly, on the daily chart, this is a higher low. It's there, very clear, looking like it's the beginning of a cup and handle. And then here's the cup. It will look better on the 240, but it's here. Here's the cup. Here's the handle. Breaking out to the upside. Where that air, you can see it over here. Right, on the 240 chart. The longs from the end, it looks like. There's the cup and handle. Right. There's the cup. The handle's forming right over here. And we're looking at a move back up to 9,200. Right, so that's very interesting. We've already got the higher lows on the chart. Now we need some higher highs. I'm calling this a pivot, and we already have that too. But it's definitely showing strength. This looks to me like we should be back over here. Probably another small pullback, and then back up. This one I don't think is going to actually hold. It's been hit multiple times already. Likely that we end up someplace over here. So long this week for yen. Okay, let's take a look at the 60. In fact, the 60 is probably in an uptrend based on what I'm seeing over here on the 240. Yep. There's our higher low, and then we take out the high. We're in an uptrend. So this has got air over here. Looks like we're banging against the prior lows and this little supply zone. And we should be getting up here, and then probably a pullback, and then we go. All right, so starting the longs. Trend is already up on yen for pullback into demand. See if we have anything decent on the 15 yet. Yeah, really nice zone. Right there. Pretty, 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 pretty. Right at 9,000. Delicious. Good looking long. Okay, that's our yen. go look at Aussie. So week number 7, 8, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, week 7 of nothing. All right, we're just flagging. You're going sideways. We know exactly where the support is and the resistance is. You can see it. It's on the daily. It's right here and here. We're just banging around, waiting to see which way it wants to go. So again, the target on the upside, which I believe we're going to end up breaking through, is up here again still. The next level up there at 7,600. Again, it's starting to hold down here. You can see it on the 240. It did take out, this little bottom over here, but immediately held right away and starts shooting the other way to supply. And now we got to see what happens over here. So it's sort of not ready yet. We get a big pair, very big, a pair of twins, right? A huge range, immediate reversal. It's got the higher low over here. So it looks to me like it's time to think about longs over here. Let's take a look on the 60 if it's opened up an uptrend for us yet. I'm telling us where this trade is going to develop. Yeah. No uptrend yet, not yet at least, right? We rallied off the lows, straight up, and there's some demand over here. Not looking so strong yet. So the long trade has not yet started. It's not ready. Trend is still down over here. And hold on one second. All right, back. So this is not ready yet, right? We're looking still a downtrend over here. So we would still need, pull back into a demand zone, hold it, and break through highs. So start looking for that to develop. It's not ready just yet, but I would like to see that come in someplace over here. Potentially, it could be right over here. Right? If we rally up into here and then pull back into this demand that's going to be created, that would also work. I think we're going to see a pretty strong rally in Aussie this week because I'm expecting that really explosive move in gold. Aussie should get a lift out of that. So we'll see how that plays out. Pounds, what are we looking at? So weakness still on the weekly chart, right? We keep on seeing this dribbling down. The trend is still down on the daily chart, no question about that. So where are we? Pulling into demand yet? I mean, yeah, it's demand, but it's got lower highs. I doubt this level was going to hold at this point. It doesn't look like it's going to hold. Let's zoom out a little bit and see what's underneath us. Oh boy. So there's some pretty good room underneath this thing. It looks like there's a pocket of air over here. This is the level that we're banging on right now. It's like what's against the wall. And it looks like it's just air right down to 1.3. So, sorry, 1.29. They're already broken 3. It's 1.29 even. So that looks like where we're going to end up. We should see a decent rally out of that area, but it looks like that we're probably going to touch that first. Let's go see what it looks like on some of the other time frames. '60 chart. Clearly downtrend, not really any good demand that we're in over here, no question about that. Looks like there's supply sitting right over here. Let's add it to the chart right now. Looking at something right over here. Well, just cut that. That looks like a news wick. We're going to just chop that off. That's the NFP news anyway from Friday. So there we're looking at supply right there for the pounds. Canadian is showing continued strength. Another weekly high, strong close on the week. Notice that we closed above a whole 5-6 weeks of highs. and we even attacked this high back here. We didn't get through it yet, but it's almost there. So definitely showing a lot of strength. We had the pair of twins down here in the weekly chart. We're fighting up the high. I'm sorry, the monthly chart. We're fighting off, trying to break through the high of the prior month. You can see over here in the daily chart that we're looking at, higher low, higher highs. This is in an uptrend, and we're pretty much in air. This is all garbage. The supply is still far away. So I would say 7,800 would probably get resistance over here. It looks like the 200 moving average is right there. That's the target. 78,000 actually for the Canadian. Let's take a look at the 240 first. On the 240, so we've been, flagging around over here, trying to break our way through this supply zone. Right? The supply that's back here on the 240, and we keep channeling right underneath it. When that happens, it's not likely to really do much. It's probably going to break down, and you can see that, after that, it's air, right, to 78,000. That's where the next supply zone is sitting. It's this thing over here. So we should be able to get up there. I think we're going to maybe another pullback in a small lower time frame into a lower time frame demand zone, and then look for the longs. So Canadian looking pretty good, finally, after weeks of crap. Looks nice. Let's see what we got here on the 60. There it is. There's a nice looking demand zone over there if we want to try that one. There's actually another one over here. It looks like on Friday was formed right over here. Golfing candle. The failed hammer. Right there. Very nice. We'll zoom out a little bit. See where the supply is sitting at. So there's the gap that we're dealing with. Looks like we're still waiting to fill the rest of that sucker. After that, looks like there's one little blip over here. Let's look at that, the 60 zone. What is that? This here. Looks like a pretty good supply zone. Excuse me. So, based on the fact that we should have demand sitting right around here someplace, that, that's all we'd probably get a back test over there from that zone. And then we end up at 78,000, right? So we should do something like this. We'll hit the supply. We'll back test a little bit from it. And that's the target for the week. There someplace. All right. That's our Canadian. Looking good so far. Let's take a look at copper. Copper. Okay, so copper sells off the supply zone over here on the daily, and then holds on Friday. Right? On the from weekly perspective, we did get bearish twins off the demand zone so far. We'll have to wait and see. And it's looking like so far it's a higher low over here. You'll see that on the daily chart, with a potential for it to, to do this. We don't know just yet. Looking like the beginning of a V bottom, I would say, on the 240, at least back to here. And there's definitely air to do that. Looking like it's got some legs under there. Copper is very volatile when it comes to tariffs news and stuff like that with China. There's the 60, and there's the supply. Yeah, we have potential for a V bottom up, at least to bring it back to 200 or so, like that. See if that works out. There's the demand from, back. And, are we making higher lows or higher highs? No, not yet. On the 15, we made a higher low. This thing over here would be a higher low, but we're not really holding anything just yet. So, the longs are still counter trend. It's a V bottom type stuff. If it starts holding, you can see the higher low. It's right here on the 15. And we start rallying out of this thing, so, you've got room, I would say, at least back again to the 28200 probably, as far as the target is concerned. There should be a demand zone that's going to be forming over here as we work our way up there. I just moved my lines, I'll fix it in a second. But as we do this, we'll get some resistance, and then we'll get this. That's that 282, and then we get pullback, and then to here. So let's fix this right there. Pick up the wick here. Okay, that's the supply. So watch copper for potential to a rally back to 28200, and then you can get short up there because that's just V-bottom, the trend is still down. You know, no question about that stuff, about where the trend is. Okay. Soy, what did we do this week? Finally, we're 3 weeks in a row green on soy. Really interesting. Notice that we had a really strong move on the daily chart a couple of days back, and we hit daily supply. Then we sold off, and then we held. Take a look. Breakout. Here's the breakout. There's the pullback into the demand, and now we're holding again. This is going to rally. We're going to get deeper. We start getting into here. Oh boy. Right. So we still really need to see like a higher low on the weekly chart. So I don't know that we're going to retrace all this without the pullback first. It's very unlikely that that's going to happen. So I would like to see, you know, it looks like the 60 is definitely in an uptrend right now. The 240 is almost uptrending, and it's looking more like rally base, but definitely showing a lot of strength. Can we start longs? Well, hell, pretty clear over here what's happening, right? There's the old gap. And another one. This one over here didn't hold. We retraced into it. We came back to this one, and then it held. And this is now breaking out of this. This is a bull flag on a higher time frame, right? And we're breaking through the top. You can see that it's air, all the way past here. So the longs are definitely in play for soy. And there's a pretty nice looking demand zone that's sitting right over here. Right there. It looks at right around 9, a little bit under 9. That's where you want to join the long. Okay. Let's see what it looks like on the 15. Absolutely. You can see where it was. Okay, so the demand is now sitting over here. Sort of level on level. I'm going to marry these two zones actually. This is the lowest part of the zone down here. There's this one that's here. But I think we're probably not going to go beyond this thing over here. Right here. We just took out the tops over here. There's got a ton of air up here. I mean, look at this thing. Whew. 15, 20 points of air. So longs for soy all the way. Buy, pull back in demand. All right, and we'll wrap it up with the bonds. So I was looking for long bonds almost the whole week, and it looks like it started on Friday, pretty much, right? We were getting this big candle over here on Wednesday, almost made me give up my idea that we should be rallying, but then we just immediately did this, and now with the the NFP news that came out Friday, it was pretty crappy. I think we're going to see a retrace out of this sucker. You can see on the 240 we're back to the air. We're coming back to this zone again with all the air up here. So we're talking about V bottom, small pullback, higher low, pop. That's what we should be seeing for this week. Something into this range, 143, then a pullback into somewhere around this level, right over here, and then bang into the 144 supply. This is the target for the week. Okay. Here it is on the 60. We were channeling down. We made a new low back here. I think that was that Wednesday. And we took out all these lows down here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked about that in the webinar. And then we rallied back up, and now we're looking at this air, all this air. So we should see this get retraced, we get a pullback, and then bang to the next level. So I would start to think about longs over here. We hold in the bottom. We made higher highs over here. We held again off the demand zone over here, made another higher high. So you could start longs here, no problem. Pull back into demand, buy the long, and aim for 145. It's huge. Big move for bonds. See something here. There's the demand on the 15, so that's the level that held down there. We're talking about somewhere over here, right where the supply high was, prior high. That's the level that you want. Okay. So longs right around 142 and change. Up there, 142 and 24, 30 seconds. And our target for the week, again, is that 240 fresh supply. Came in at 145-ish. Nope, 144, 12:30 seconds. That's the target. So, pretty big. A big move for bonds. Okay, if anyone has a question, go ahead, raise your hand. Otherwise, Wednesday is going to be a live trading session this week. So we'll have a webinar and then live trading. I might move it to Thursday. I'm not sure yet. Depends. But it's definitely this week, either Wednesday or Thursday. Yes, go ahead.
A time or two ago, you had mentioned something about 3 candles in a row, and then you went off to something else. When do you like to see 3 candles in a row?
So when I'm looking for a pivot, when I want to determine if a move is potentially a pivot, I'd like to see 3 candles in the same color, and not just sideways candles. I want to see them, with lower high, lower lows, 1, 2, 3, and then something going the other way, 1, 2, 3. So then I could call this a pivot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
On the indicators you have, the plus signs, have you worked that out yet?
Yeah, no, it's not ready yet. I'm still playing with it. A little setback this week, but I didn't get a chance to work on it. So, well, maybe by next week it'll be done. But Wednesday or Thursday this week will be a trading session, so stay tuned for the announcement. Right now it's still Wednesday. If I change it, I'll send out a message. But other than that, have a great week. Enjoy the rest of the Sunday, and look out for the tweets tomorrow. Take care. Bye.